Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this card. I'm going to call it the Chevron card because it kind of has that type of look to this paper piecing. And I'm going to try to do this really quickly. We have some work being done at our house and I want to make sure I get it done before the banging starts. So I'm going to point you down to my work surface and get right to it. So this is a fairly quick little card to do and a great way to use some of your paper scraps. So we're going to start with a piece of basic gray cardstock. I have all the measurements here of what I used. So it's the basic gray cardstock cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then we have a piece of the basic gray that measures 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And then we have our pale papaya piece of cardstock that measures 5 1/4 by 4. And we have our designer series paper that measures 1/2 inch by 1 1/4 inch, and we have about 20 of those pieces. So what I'm going to do is start by laying these down, and I'm going to start with this piece right about there. And this one right here, and you're just going to basically alternate how you're laying those pieces down. Just like so. You want to try to create a fairly straight line going all the way across. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start gluing these down. Like I said, we have some work going on in our house right now, and we have 3 bedrooms that are basically cleared out of all of their furniture, and a lot of it dumped into my craft room. So things are a little hectic around here, and I find it's harder to get motivated when things are just not quite the way that you're used to having them. Especially when you can't find things that you know where they are, but you can't get to them because there's mattresses in the way and bookshelves and all kinds of stuff. So, but it's only temporary. I have to keep telling myself that. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm lining this line up here so it's nice and straight. Hopefully you can see that. The sun at this time of the morning is kind of crazy in this room too, so not ideal for making the video, but gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, and then when I'm placing those down, I'm just trying to keep the margins around them about the same, the spacing around them. So this is a card that I did at my Wednesday Zoom class. It's a free class that I offer on Wednesdays from 10 to noon Pacific time. If you'd like more information, you can find it on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. Information's right up there. I'd love it if you could join us for those sessions. I do post all of the featured projects and the dimensions of all the cardstock that you need to cut ahead of time so that you can make the featured project along with me. And that way, if you have any questions along the way, I can answer them. And once we're done with the featured project, we all just kind of stamp and do our own things and socialize. Again, I'm trying to keep these lines here going straight best I can without being too anal about it. I don't like to have to do too much measuring when I'm crafting. Okay, so as you go, you'll see some of these lines are, there's more of a space around those. Don't worry too much about those. We're going to go ahead and fill some of that in at the end. The product that I'm using today are all in the, it's all in the currently available online, on my online store. You can shop there at melindapierce.stampinup.net. If you see something you like, I would appreciate the business. Okay, so for on these little areas left over, you're just going to take your pieces and just stick them down. Try not to get too much glue on your other piece, on the piece that goes off the card, because that's going to create kind of a sticky mess that you want to avoid. So these ones are a little bit tougher because you need to remember to turn your pieces of DSP going this way. It's alternating. So if you have trouble with the adhesive getting onto your work surface, I would recommend using a silicone mat underneath there. That just helps keep your work surface nice and clean. You can wipe off all the excess glue really easy with those silicone sheets. Like I said, I have it here someplace in my stamp room, but right now I cannot find much of anything. So I really try to keep my stamp studio pretty organized. Otherwise I lose my mojo really quickly. I don't feel like crafting. And so I'm finding this time period very challenging. But hopefully it'll only be a few more days. We're putting wood floors in all of our bedrooms, and we're repainting. So I'm really excited about the new look that we're achieving. So it'll all be worth it. Okay, so again, over here on the corner, I want to continue that that formation of the card. So this piece is going to go here. So I'm kind of lining up this line here now to make sure that's going straight. And then I'll take another piece and put it right here. Whoop, see, that's what I mean. You need to alternate. Like so. All right, we have a little corner down here that needs a little something. I think I hear our workers coming, so I have to wrap this up pretty quickly. I'm gonna put this one right here. Let's see, where does that go? Yep, right about there. And then up here we have a space that needs filling too. So that's gonna go right about there. Kind of like a big puzzle. So here I'm lining up this line here and this line here. Okay, and then this top part should be all covered with that extra piece of basic gray that I mentioned earlier. So what we're going to do is take the card and turn it over and cut off all these extra pieces. You can see I had started in a prior demonstration there. That was the one I tried to do yesterday, but there was a lot of banging going on. So I had to reshoot the video. That's okay. I'm just trying to cut the designer series paper and not the card base itself. You could do this with a trimmer as well. All right, so there is that. Now we're going to take our basic gray piece, put a little adhesive on there, put that right across the top, make sure that's nice and straight. Okay, that looks pretty good, I think. All right, and then we're going to bring our cardstock, our card base back in. Just adhere this all to that. You don't have to use all the same paper down here. If you have a bunch of little paper scraps, you can make a cute little design using different designer series paper that way as well. All right, so now we just have our two little die cuts. So we have this one for the background, and then this is the one that we're going to stamp on. And bring this in here. So if you're interested in doing the cards that I show on Zoom, but you don't have all the supplies, I can send you the supplies to make the cards. It does cost $7, and that includes shipping. And you'll have all of the paper and die cuts that you might need. You do need to supply your own stamps, as I can't stamp the Stampin' Up images and mail them to you. So if you're interested in doing that, feel free to contact me. You can either message me on Facebook or on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I just glued that down and attached it to the mat, and I'm going to raise that up on some dimensionals. If you have any questions regarding Stampin' Up products or the projects that I'm showing, feel free to message me. I do respond to the messages on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. So feel free to leave me messages there. Be happy to help you out with anything that I can. So on this this card, I used some different types of embellishments that I'm using today. Again, because I can't find these in my stamp room. But these are the champagne rhinestones. I think they go well with the pale papaya. So I'm just going to peel those off and stick them randomly on the card, just to add a little bling in this section that's a little plain. You could also run that background paper through the cut and emboss machine, and that would give you a nice look too. All right, I think my workers are here, so I'm going to have to bring this to a close. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.